Have you ever considered what is the opposite of mindfulness? Or you could call it mindlessness. We could call it being on autopilot. And when we do mindful walking, we're often on autopilot or mindless. We're not really present to what we're doing. And today I'm going to be talking how to teach mindful walking. This is the Teach Mindfulness podcast. My name is Shamash Aladina. So let's talk mindful walking. Now, mindful walking is one of the favorite practices for many people because it's very portable, it's relatively easy to do. Most people walk around during the day, and even if you don't walk, you use something like a wheelchair, you can do the same practice using a wheelchair or crutches, for example. And it can help during the day to turn off the autopilot or the mindlessness and to bring a bit more wakefulness into your day. So that's the reason for it, and that's the kind of thing you want to share with your students when you're teaching mindful walking. And it's a bit like breathing, just like we walk quite often during the day, we're breathing all the time, so it's something that's with you quite often and you can bring awareness to it. So how do you teach mindful walking? Well, for absolute beginners, I would recommend you can actually do it indoors if you're teaching a group, and you can get them to slow down their walking. They could reduce it to half speed or even slower. It'll be a bit harder for them to balance, but as I've taught you before, when you slow down the speed of something you normally do on autopilot, mindfulness naturally rises up. It's just a natural phenomenon that happens because you're doing it so slowly. Your normal busy mind doesn't engage as it may normally do, and you start to notice more. Try it out and you'll find out. So you slow down, and you can actually break the walking down into lifting, moving and placing. Lifting each foot, moving it out and placing it. And when your students do that, they can start to cultivate awareness. And one lovely place to cultivate awareness is on the soles of the feet. Now you can take this to the next level by telling people to take their shoes and socks off, and you can even do it outside in the grass. Some people really love doing that. And then you can really connect with your senses of your feet on the grass. Anyway, that's how you want to teach it initially, if possible. If not, and if it's not appropriate, let's say you're in a setting where that wouldn't work, then you can just walk at just slightly slower than normal speed and get the students to really connect with their feet on the floor, their breathing. Now, how do you take this and how do you encourage students to take this out into the world? Well, one favourite way of doing that is connecting with the senses. And the way to do that is to tell them to pick one of the senses, let's say sight, and notice all the different colours that they see on their walk. Or you can simply tell them notice something new. Every time you go on your walk, even though it's the same walk you always do, walking to work, see if you can find something new to see. So that's a nice way of doing it. You can also tell them to choose a certain colour, like blue or green or yellow, and look for all objects or elements of nature that are that colour. So it's like spotting and looking, so it makes it like a game. Another way is to just tune into the breathing and the feet on the floor and the rhythm of the two, and there may be a certain number of steps that they take as they breathe in and a certain number of steps they take as they breathe out, so they can connect in that way. And then another one, I haven't mentioned the other senses, like so obviously there's sight and then there's sound. That's another thing you can notice when you're walking. And then if you're in nature or not in nature, the scent and the smells that you notice on a walk is interesting. And the touch is mainly your feet on the floor, but you can also feel the breeze in your hands. Or maybe even if it's raining, feeling the rain, or if it's very hot, feeling the sunshine on the body. The senses are really come alive when you're walking. Another thing to remember when you're teaching mindful walking is about setting the intention at the beginning of the walk. You can get your students to just take a moment to say, okay, what's your intention? Why are you doing this walk? Normally you're getting from A to B, but we're trying mindfulness now. So what's your intention of this walk? Is it to be more conscious and mindful? Is it to practice gratitude? Is it to cultivate curiosity? Is it a process of self-care and self-compassion for yourself and you're giving yourself a break? Is it about slowing down? when you start to tell your students to bring the intention, the meaning, the purpose into it, you're bringing in some mindful, what are called flexibility skills in it as well, which really make a difference to people's mental and emotional well-being. So there's some tips, everything from slowing down, setting intentions, connecting with the senses, making it into a game. There's lots of different ways in which you can teach mindful walking. There's probably others as well, but there are a few that you can start thinking about now. And if there's one or two of those you haven't done before, then see if you can bring them into your next class. Some of our mindfulness teachers that we've trained, they seem to really enjoy taking their classes outside into nature nowadays, and people love connecting with nature quite often too. So see if you can take it out into nature as well. Thanks for listening. Leave a review or share this if you enjoyed it with others. And thanks for listening. See you soon.